You, me, and Hallie. Literally, this is a vinyl figurine of her as Ariel from The Little Mermaid. I am silly. What is up, everybody? Random Random Man here, bringing you my review for You, Me, and Tuscany in one take as I walk around my backyard on this somewhat cloudy, a little bit noisy with the birds, but a nice spring day. Taking place in Italy. The plot of this romantic comedy film follows a young cook who squats in a seemingly abandoned Tuscan villa owned by someone she barely knows, and then she meets the homeowner's cousin. Going into this movie, I had some interest in seeing it as it looked like a rom-com that was a throwback to the ones from decades ago, and I am a fan of the main lead here as an actress. Starting out with the cast and their performances, we have Halle Bailey as Anna. As I showed off with my intro to this video, I own that vinyl figurine of Bailey as Ariel from the 2023 live-action Disney remake of The Little Mermaid. And say what you will about that movie, I thought she was one of the strongest aspects of that film. I mean, that movie was brought down a lot just from her casting alone, which was unnecessarily hateful. She has a beautiful singing voice, she has charisma in the role, and later that year in 2023 she was also in another musical film, this time the film adaptation of the Broadway version of The Color Purple, and she was quite good in that too for the little screen time that she had. And now she's back in a lead role, but in a role that does not require her to sing. And playing Anna, she plays this young cook who went to culinary school but had to drop out with her late mother's death, and now she is a house sitter and still has a plane ticket from her late mother to go to Italy. And after a chance encounter with a very rich, young, good-looking Italian dude, she goes off to this Tuscan villa where she does end up meeting his family, and a bunch of other misunderstandings and lies are put into play with this plot here. As I'll mention with the writing in a little bit, I mean, it's kind of silly to think that there is something totally realistic about this here, but I think Bailey really holds it all together. She has a warmth with the role, and just how we see her as someone that is trying to do better for herself. We want to see her live her best life, even with all the circumstances here, and with all the people she ends up meeting, including Michael, played by Regé-Jean Page. He is the cousin of the homeowner of this villa, and Regé-Jean Page, I haven't been the biggest fan of as an actor. I've never seen the show Bridgerton, so I don't know how he is on that show, but that was his breakout turn. I've only seen him in a few movies prior to this, with The Gray Man, which I didn't like him in. The Dungeons and Dragons movie from a few years ago, I thought he was just there for. But last year in Black Bag, I thought he was quite good, and I also think that he is good here too. The chance encounter that his character has with Bailey's Anna at first is one out of like, hatred or just like, annoyance or whatever. But you see as the movie progresses that chemistry and a romantic relationship is blossoming between the both of them, even though when Anna is there at the villa, she is caught squatting at the villa and is mistaken for being the fiance of the man that she barely met back in New York before going to Italy. That man is Matteo, played by Lorenzo De Moor, and I think that he was great in many aspects. He's not in the movie for a whole chunk of it, but I think as someone that Bailey's character seemed to fall for at first, but then also someone who is very estranged from his family, and we don't see him for a lot of the movie, as I just said. And there's so many other characters here as well, like Marco Galvani as Lorenzo. He is the taxi driver that interacts a lot with Anna here. He has a lot of funny moments and has energy. Isabella Ferrari plays the mother to Matteo. I think everyone here gives a solid turn, but especially Halle Bailey as Anna. And with how this whole plot comes together, how it is as a romantic comedy. Now, as I mentioned, this plot doesn't seem to be totally realistic. I mean, all this coming together with Anna staying at this villa, then being mistaken for the fiance of Matteo, and then meeting Matteo's cousin Michael, and then eventually falling for him. All of this together, it's something that you would have expected from a movie decades ago. And like I said, this movie from the surface looks like it's like something from decades ago. But I think that is part of the appeal and what someone would want to watch in this being a very light and easygoing kind of film. Now, it's pretty predictable. That goes without saying. I mean, you see where everything is going. I mean, all of this is like basically built up on a lie once we get to Tuscany. And at first, the movie is a bit rough going with it. The first 15-ish minutes or so, I'm like, okay, so we're getting all this set up, and it's like getting into the whole backstory of Anna and then what she is trying to do in life, how she's trying to get through everything. And then once we do get to Tuscany, I think the movie does pick up because we get to meet the rest of the main cast here and how it all goes together. I mean, it's what you would expect, more or less, in a film like this. One thing that has a big appeal going with it, too, is that the movie, in how it is just showing off Tuscany in its location. I mean, compared to the location where I am right now, I mean, it is very sunny, very bright here, as opposed to this very cloudy location that I'm showing off right now as I'm doing laps around my backyard. And it's beautifully shot. It was really shot on the Amalfi Coast, so you can tell that a lot with the location and just how we see the characters go around in this small town. It's something that literally looks like a vacation that anyone would want to go on here, and how the movie just goes along with its pacing and how it moves. It runs at about an hour and 45 minutes, which is the same running time as the movie that I last saw and reviewed, the drama, which is a very different kind of romance movie, if you would. I mean, that movie is a drama in name only and is more a psychological dark comedy. You, Me, and Tuscany is more a traditional romantic comedy here. So how that goes all together, I thought it was well paced. I didn't think it overstayed its welcome in any sense like that. The way the movie is written and directed, as I said, it is pretty standard, gets the movie going, it does its job. But for anyone that is a sucker for rom-coms, in many instances like myself, I think that is enough to get through what we are seeing here. Also supplemented by the other technical elements, as I mentioned, with how the movie looks, just seeing the production all together taking place in Tuscany. The music I have to give a shout out to as well, because some notable hit songs are shown off here, like the Italian track Sarà Perché Ti Amo, which I love, and then Mario's Let Me Love You. So I think that helps give off the whole setting and feel of this movie, just to give it all together. Yes, as I said, this movie doesn't really reinvent the genre or do anything new with what we have not or have seen before with romantic comedies, but it's something that gives you a bit of a vacation or a bit of a window into a very lavish kind of locale that anyone would want to go to for vacation. And with someone like Halle Bailey leading everything here, I think that she is a star. I hope that she does other big projects like this one going forward, because I'd like to see what she does further as an actress, as she's already proven with a few movies before this, also with her singing, just more of that. And just how this film is all together, I think that anyone who watches this will get some sort of charm and levity just with how it is in its genre. So with all of that being said, I do recommend You, Me, and Tuscany. My final verdict for You, Me, and Tuscany is 3.5 out of 5 stars. Thank you all, as always, for watching. Be sure to like this video, comment on what you thought of You, Me, and Tuscany. social media links in the description. Subscribe to my channel for more, and I'll catch you on the next movie review.